Hey, what's up, players? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the Big Podcast Show. Holla at a player.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pants Network brings you its tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino Show. That's right. Teddy Long brought us into the show tonight. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House. It's called The Wrestling Songs, available on iTunes for 99 cents. A lot of people might not know that we are going live tonight. This is a special request. Because Tino actually has people coming in from out of town tomorrow.
Out of state. As a matter of fact, I was just on the phone with her, my baby sister. I was trying to get everything finalized and figuring out what time she's going to get here and all that good stuff.
So it's completely okay with me. We're doing it a little different this week. We pushed us up a day, but it is what it is.
We'll be back
but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to pro wrestling. But before we get to all that, Tino, this episode should be kind of special, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's the year-end episode.
The year-end review. We're really the year-end on the first of the year.
I mean, it is literally what, January 3rd?
Yeah. So we probably should have done the year-end last week, but hey.
No. I think we should do the year-end this week and go ahead and give our award winners for such things like WWE Star of the Year.
Okay.
AEW Star of the Year.
Okay.
WWE Women's Star of the Year. AEW Women's Star of the Year.
We got to break it down. We just can't do overall. I guess.
Well, hold on. I think that it's very important that we give both of them their roses, right?
All right.
WWE Tag of the Year, AEW Tag of the Year, and overall Best of the Year.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
But before we get to all of that, we always start the show with Matthew standing behind you.
Making all kinds of noise.
So, Matthew, what's up with you?
Nothing.
And that's the end of Matthew's interview. Do you hear him? Nothing.
Nothing. I gotta go to bed. I'm already late.
Yes, that's what he's doing. He's doing his chores fast to go to bed. Really, the major thing, I was supposed to DJ for New Year's Eve. And the owner of the bar called me a couple of days before New Year's, or texted me, "Hey, that's bad news." I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to lose some money." I said, "What's up?" 70% of my staff has COVID. I'm like, oh. So we didn't do New Year's Eve party. Ended up staying at home, which was cool too. With Cole and Matthew, we just made a whole bunch of appetizers. We had like pigs and blankets and meatballs and dip. My father-in-law came over. We chilled. Nicole made it to midnight. I was ribbing her all night that she wasn't going to make it, and she made it to midnight. And then once the ball dropped, we did champagne toast, got a little smooch, and she goes, "I'm out." So she went to bed, and so I was still awake. So I went across the street to my neighbor's house, and he was still out. They were still outside, had a bonfire going. So I just went over there and drank some more and stayed over there till about 2. And so, but it was good. Went up, went to church Sunday, and prepared for today, which was the first day back to work, and didn't want to get up this morning because the weather was nasty.
Go ahead. Tell everybody what you sent me earlier today, where you were like, "Can we be done early?" Because
I wanted to try to do it at 7:30, so we can do 9:30. Because I'm like, I'm crashing.
Nobody be watching us at 7:30. If you're in the crowd, by the way, make sure that you
in the crowd right now.
Just sit there, say hi, don't be shy.
So, but yeah, so When the word day, it was exciting. It snowed. I was like, it snowed a lot, and I'm like, I wish it hadn't rained. I wish it was colder so it would at least stick. But all the rain. So I got up to leave this morning to go to work, and I opened the front door, and there is a branch on my stoop. I had to get this. I had to move this branch out the way. I'm like, all right. So I go to get in the Jeep, and you've been to the house. So the way we've got the cars parked, Nicole's car is up front, and my Jeep is right behind her, and there's that basketball goal. If I'd been backed up a little bit, the wind knocked the goal over. It would have hit my Jeep. So I had to put that back up, and then I was like, well, I don't want Nicole to have to lift that up. So I moved the Jeep, and then I got Nicole's car and kind of pulled it in the cul-de-sac. So in case the goal fell again, she'd be able to back out and not have to worry about trying to lift that basketball goal. But yeah, man, it was crazy. My front yard was
because the last time I was there, I dunked on it.
Oh yeah. So we had like the damn pond in our front yard because the way it just everything just. And what freaked me out is like we had the Christmas lights plugged in, and so the plugs are underwater. I'm like, I don't, but the lights are still on. I'm like, I'm not touching it. I'm no. So at some point, when they dry, I'm just gonna.
I'd have unplugged them shits.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that because it was not good. And like I said, then it snowed, and I figured it's gonna drop to 20 tonight. And I told Nicole, I said they're either going to cancel school or it's going to be a 2-hour delay. And we got the text, it's going to be a 2-hour delay.
Yeah, 2-hour delay makes sense because it'll probably be up in the 40s by 10 o'clock. So
yeah, but you also got to think too, some of those rural roads, like in Wake County, that the buses won't be able to get down there. I was like, that's why I thought they were going to cancel. So
kids got to learn how to walk up them roads, man.
Well, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Right now, it's just 2-hour delay, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's funny. I work from home now, so of course the thing that bugs me about all that is that we're sitting there going, oh God, it's gonna snow, and it's like that shit doesn't bother me anymore because I walk downstairs as long as I got internet. I clock into work,
And I'm supposed to be getting ready to start working from home here soon because they were getting all that together. I'm like, dude, this has been a perfect day for me to work from home because it was nasty out there, man.
I mean, it's hilarious because it's like all growing up, you're sitting there like, oh, please let it snow so I don't have to go to work. And then
doesn't matter now.
And of course, if we want to talk about GameStop story of the week, I mean, like let's be real, GameStop never closed.
No.
While it was done. In fact, I do have a story about that.
Did they have
me to go ahead and do GameStop story of the week real quick?
Yeah, but did they ever delay an opening?
What's that?
Did they ever have a delay? I know they didn't
sometimes
close, delayed, yeah.
Because sometimes you couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting ready to tell.
All right, cool.
So when I was working at North Hills,
okay,
my buddy and my boss, Kevin Dixon, he called me up and he said, Rob, I know it's snowing. Are you able to make it to your store? And I said, Kevin, I'm going to try to make it to the store. And he goes, Rob, what do you mean you're going to try? And I'm like, well,
is this your 2-wheeler days?
These are my 2-wheeler days. So I had a scooter, just so everybody knows. I literally had a scooter to get to and from work. And, I couldn't get the scooter started because it was too cold. Right? Now, this is the only time it wouldn't start because it was too cold. But I called Kevin and I'm like, I'm going to start walking to work. And this is before I had my quadruple bypass surgery. So I'm walking to work and like I can't, because there's like 4 inches of snow on the ground. I'm sitting there stepping through it, and I gotta walk uphill and everything. And suddenly I'm like, like that. And I'm like, I can't make it. There's no way I'm gonna make it. I couldn't make it up the first hill, which, by the way, if I made it up that first hill, I'd been able to make it because it was a flat surface the rest of the way. I couldn't make it up the hill to get the rest of the way down. So I call Kevin.
You probably couldn't have got that scooter up that hill then either.
Well, no, well, the scooter like literally would have been like that,
Yeah.
like sliding everywhere. So I call Kevin, and Kevin goes, Rob, you know that the regional manager is gonna hate if you and I don't show up to work. And I'm like, well, what are you saying? He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll pick you up. And I'm like, all right, Kevin, because otherwise there's no way I'm making it to the store. There's no way. And he goes, we've already been told we can show up like 2 hours late if we have to. Okay,
Right.
cool. So Kevin pulls up to my house after I walked all the way back from where I got to. Because I mean, I'm like dripping sweat. And this is probably, no lie, Tino, this is probably like 5 months before I went in for heart surgery kind of thing. Like it's maybe a year before it, but either way, like I was like, this is the worst I've ever felt trying to walk this. And it was like a 2-mile walk. It wasn't like a long walk.
Okay.
But I'm like, this is, I can't do this. Like I can't get, because just walking up the hill and walking to the place would have been fine, but walking in like 4 inches of snow meant you had to put your feet down, you know, like, and all this stuff. So Kevin shows up and he goes, Rob, I got to be real with you. The reason why I came to get you is because I know that the regional manager's out to get me. And because you're one of my guys, he's probably out to get you too. So we got to do everything we can to get to work on time. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he goes, so you want to get lunch? So we're already late to get to work. And he's asking me if I want to go get lunch. And I'm like, Kevin, where do you think that they'll have lunch available? And he goes, I don't know. We'll just stop on the way. Because, you know, like from where I used to live to North Hills, it was a 2-mile drive, but we had the honey baked ham place. And then we had like 4 other places. Well, Chick-fil-A was already closed that day, so we couldn't go to Chick-fil-A. But he pulled into the honey baked ham place, and we walk in, and he's like, can we order sandwiches? And they're like, well, we're only supposed to be doing like catering and having people pick up the catering. And we're like, but we're here. And the guy running the place is like, yeah, I see that. Yeah, go ahead and let them get whatever they want. Literally, we order sandwiches. We get to the GameStop. And an hour after we get to GameStop, I mean, Tino, the snowflakes coming down are this freaking big. An hour after we get to the GameStop, Kevin's just sitting there like, I'm just going to hang out with you all day, whatever, right?
Right.
An hour after we get to the GameStop, we get the regional manager to sit there and call all the stores and say, oh, yeah, you guys can go ahead and close now. Like, what was the fucking point of showing up?
Oh, man, I'd have been pissed.
Well, what made it fun was the fact that I got to hang out with Kevin.
Right.
And I always liked hanging out with Kevin. But, you know, because he also bought lunch that day, which made it even more fun.
Yeah,
But I mean, truthfully, like, what was the fucking point? We were there an hour. We got there. We opened up at noon. And by 1 o'clock, we were closed. Like, what was the fucking point?
To fuck with y'all, apparently.
Just and like Kevin said at the beginning, well, I just want to make sure that Mark doesn't have a reason to fire us. Okay,
Hey,
whatever. Whatever. Was what it was. So that was my my GameStop story. When it comes to what's up with me, Just want to let everybody know that the Mango Lorian is now available to pre-order. If you weren't able to get into your local comic shop, you can now you can now go online to the keenspotshop.com, look up my name, Rob Pochak, and be able to order the A cover, the B cover, the C cover, the D cover, the E cover, Tino.
Oh my God.
And hold on, I'm not done yet. You ready?
Uh-huh. I'm sending you something. I got a question.
Anybody who wants a cover copy autographed by myself and the artist, Troy Dongara, can order it online right now at keenspotshop.com.
I wasn't sure if I was allowed to or not. That's why I asked.
So, Tino.
Uh-huh.
Tino just asked the question, folks, just so everybody knows, because we're live Monday night instead of Tuesday night like we normally are. Tino wants to know whether or not he is allowed to talk about the preview edition of the Mango Lorian that
I loved
he
it.
got to read.
I loved it, and the characters, and you named them.
So I didn't say you could yet.
No, but the characters when you named them made me laugh. Made me laugh because I knew exactly who they were just by looking at them before I even read the name.
So Tino, go ahead and give your review of the Mango Lorian.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I can talk about it.
You read it. Don't give away how it goes. Don't. You can talk about some of the characters. You can talk about like what happens if you want to, but be mindful of the 24-page story.
I'm just gonna say this. I read this thing and I laughed because I could see. So Rob has a way of parodying other things into. I'm trying to be careful with this, into the story. So these other characters that I'm talking about just made me laugh to see them, and the way you incorporated it, you wouldn't think it would fit, but they fit, and so it just made me laugh even more. I loved the concept. I loved the I can't even talk about that one, but the character that was chasing them towards the end, that well-known character, that was brilliant. I thought this whole thing was awesome.
So we can give some of the characters away.
Okay.
So at the very beginning of it, Lorian walks into a bar and he picks up a hockey puck from a guy by the name of Apal O'Creed.
I loved it.
And if you've watched The Mandalorian, you know who the guy is, and you know why his name would be Apal O'Creed, right?
Yeah.
Tino, I know that I wrote the character well. I know that I wrote the character funny. I know that I wrote like some fun shit in there.
Yes.
But tell me, and tell everyone out there, when Troy Dongara drew the characters,
it was amazing. Like I said, I knew even if he wasn't named Apal
O'Creed. He's Irish, by the way. He's Irish. O'Creed.
You could tell the drawing. You knew, like I said, I knew who it was before I read the name. It's the drawing in this the art is it's unbelievable. It's excellent. I loved every bit and piece of it. I loved the story. I loved it. And I got the humor because I know you. So there's some of the things I think that a lot of people won't pick up on because I know you and I know what pops you. It popped me. I know you threw it in there for shits and giggles.
So by page 3, he shows up at Walmart to pick up a package. And Tino, what does he see when he goes past the curtain?
In the break room, can I tell you what you call them?
Go ahead.
The store troopers.
The store troopers.
And they're sitting there eating sandwiches.
The one of them has like the weird, funny glasses with the fake nose.
Over the mask.
like, so here's so just so everybody knows.
Oh my God.
I saw the book get completed by Troy Dongara, an amazing cartoonist. Okay, and like fabulous cartoonist. He dude's only been drawing for like 3 years, and he's
Really?
he's like our age, okay. But his ability to deliver on like the written script is phenomenal, right? But I gotta tell you, like after this, and this is a fault on my own, and this is because I like to go back and write more after I see the finality of everything. So after I got all the colors, after I got all like the lettering on the pages, I looked at it, and you didn't get to see this. I looked at the pages and I sat there and I was like, there's not enough. Like, why did I think this was so funny? Like right now it's not as funny as what I originally wrote. Like what is missing? And what I realized is that I wrote so much into the descriptions.
Yes.
That I didn't write enough dialogue.
Because I'm gonna tell you.
And as a writer, you got to write both.
One of my favorite parts, though, while I'm thinking about it, that had me laughing out loud, and I don't want to give it away, was the Wonka Wonka. That
the what?
The Wonka Wonka. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about,
dude. That whole thing just had me. Oh my God!
And then so, folks, we're about 2 months away from this book actually launching.
Yeah,
I can tell you, if you have read my X Liefeld's book, if you have read X Liefeld's, you know what to expect in terms of the humor. Like when they sit there and they say body slide by one, there's a fucking water slide for them to sit there and slide down in the comic book. But when it comes to this one, I try to remain as straightforward Star Wars-esque as I could, knowing exactly how I felt about Mandalorian, which by the way, I love the Mandalorian. I love it.
You did a good job of incorporating that.
And that's just it. Is that the reason why I've done so well with parodies, Tino, is and the reason why, like, locally people sit there and say you're the Weird Al of parody comic books is because when I capture the essence of the book, it's because I truly love what I'm writing about. And you easily could see that in what I gave you, right?
Yes.
So let me tell you this, though. If I had given you the original, like, pages before I went back and I actually added more dialogue, you still would have liked it, but you'd have been like, man, there's not a lot of dialogue in this book. And the reason why is because the Mandalorian doesn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out ways to sit there and like extend the overall appeal of the book. And I think I really and you'll have to tell me, I feel like I captured the essence of the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I gave Mad Magazine fans what they would look for in a book. And then I really feel like I took Troy's art and accentuated it with dialogue.
This is amazing.
And really,
I went back
and
opened
really
back up.
will, in March of this year, give fans a true feeling of what it means to write a parody comic book. And did I nail it there?
Yes. Because not only, like you said, the Mandalorian doesn't talk that much, but it doesn't have to because of the cast, that the characters you put around him help carry the story, and we're still funny.
Like, what I noticed though is that some of the characters, their names are too funny. Like Apollo Creed, right?
Yeah, I was trying not to give away names, but the other one had me rolling.
It's okay. It's okay to give away some of the names. Like, but Apollo Creed, like, makes sense when you read through to the end of the issue. Like, if you don't know, and at the beginning, I'm sitting there explaining that he's Apollo Creed, but you don't know who he is. And at the end of the book, it wouldn't have made as much sense. Like, you know who plays him. Carl Weathers played him in The Mandalorian, but you wouldn't know. And that's why when Troy's artwork, like, there's a moment where Troy's artwork shows Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa dancing and playing I'm not even gonna say it because I want you guys to read it.
Oh God!
But when they're playing around and showing that they become best friends, like, it makes sense as to why it's okay to trust Apollo Creed, right?
Yes.
And I'll tell you, when Troy sent me that artwork, by the way, he sends me the artwork, and he's like, is this kind of what you're thinking about? And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you fucking nailed it. What's up, Chris Barrett? We're live early this week because Tino's got family coming into town. So tell all your friends about us. We're talking about the Mandalorian right now.
Mandalorian.
I mean, like I said, when I read the script after it, like, when we thought it was final, and me being the editor of my own books makes it that much easier to sit there and say, no, we got to add this. We got to, when I'm lettering my own books, it makes it even easier. Luckily, the letterer of the Mandalorian, Rob Nico, is also the artist working on Immortal for me. So when I was like, hey, do you want to earn a couple extra bucks? He was like, yeah, man, I could use some extra money for Christmas for the kids and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, awesome. I said, I'm going to send you what the script is right now. Here are the pages. Let me know whether or not you're okay with me sitting there adding extra scripting afterwards. And he goes, oh, I'm totally down for that because that's kind of what I expect. Like, I want you to see the book, see my lettering in it, tell me if I need to change anything around, but on top of that, also, like, really enhance the level of the book. And we were able to do that. So are we sure that it's not because the big news from Saturday? Barrett, we're going to talk about that. We haven't even gotten to pro wrestling yet.
Oh, man, there's another Betty White, dude. Betty White passed away.
I don't even want to talk about Betty White yet. I want to keep talking about what we're talking about because Tino, like you said, like this comic coming out is a lot of fun.
Yes,
it's good. It's interesting. It's if you are a Mandalorian fan and your local comic shop for whatever reason said, fuck these guys, we're not getting it. Right now, if you go to keenspotshop.com, you can click on the icon that has my face or my name on it, and it actually has the Mangolorian logo. Click on that, and it'll let you order any of the covers, including the blank cover, including, like all of the retail incentive cover. Like if you want to buy the retail incentive cover, it's $20 to buy it through keenspotshop.com because normally you have to buy 5 copies to get a copy of the retail incentive cover. So you have to buy 25, or actually with a $6 book, you got to buy $30 worth of books to get it. So we're giving you the option of buying it for $20, right? When it comes to one of the other things that we were able to do, Troy lives about an hour and a half from me. Okay. So one of the things that we're actually opening up to do when it comes to Mangolorian is that if you go to keenspotshop.com right now, you can actually order an autographed copy of the book. And it's not just autographed by me. It'll be autographed by me and Troy. Now it's $24.99 to do it, but that's because we've got to coordinate the two of us getting together. We've got to coordinate actually putting enough copies together to do it. But more than anything else, it's because I keep getting asked, if I can't get to one of your signings, what can I do to get one of these? And it wasn't just about me, but like I said, Troy and I are able to get together. He probably lives about 3 hours away. So I'm going to meet him about halfway, and the two of us are going to sit there and sign copies for anybody that does that. If you want it CGC'd or anything like that, we haven't exactly signed up to do all that stuff yet. I can do that. It normally costs about $100 more. But regardless of that, just want to let everybody know, we want to give everybody the option of being able to buy this super cool book, get signed copies, get regular copies, whatever you want to do. Get all the copies that you want and do it through the Keen Spot shop because normally I want to do everything I can through regular comic shops, and we're even doing that. So if you were a regular comic shop, Tino, just so you know, if a comic shop sits there and says, how can I get signed copies of Mangolorian to sell at my shop, we can do that. And if they if the shop utilizes the code wholesale, they can get copies for half off. So they can buy the copies for less than retail and everything else and get exactly what they want. So if they want signed copies, they can get them for half off and then be able to sell them to their customers. Pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. So, Chris Barrett says, I can currently get legitimate contracts from Paul
Bosch office back at his wrestling. Paul Bosch.
But Chris Barrett, that's how you go ahead and you get copies of Mandalorian. Tino, We've already talked about what's up with you. What do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about NXT 2.0?
I'm trying to remember.
We're a week away from New Year's Evil.
No, that's tonight. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. Well, I meant when, like based on what we're talking about. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now it's a three. So, now it's a three-way dance for the women's championship. So you got Raquel Phoenix. You've got, was it Io Shirai and no. I'm sorry. Take that back. Rewind. Raquel Gonzalez, the new chick, the skateboard chick, and Mandy Rose. Because remember they had a tag team match with the skateboard chick, I can't remember her name, and Raquel against Kylie Ray and Io Shirai, and Raquel's team won. So now they get to be in a triple threat with Mandy for the belt tomorrow. Which it seems to me like they're pushing that young girl, which I don't think they're going to take the belt right off of Mandy right yet anyway.
I don't know if they are or not. Considering all things considered, when it comes to Tommaso Ciampa, I don't know what the answer is. Right.
And then we got the combining of the titles for the Carmelo Hayes and Roddy Strong, and they're naming it the North American Cruiserweight Championship. You see that?
Which is a dumb name.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that at some point the Cruiserweight portion of that title will come off. And all things considered, I think that the more I think about it, the more I think it is going to be determined by the other match. So, like, if Roderick Strong wins the match, Braun Breaker wins the main event. But if Carmelo Hayes wins, I see Tommaso Ciampa walking out as the champion still.
Why?
It's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for putting me on the spot like that. But more than anything else, I think that it's when you think about it, the talent involved, it's kind of like the day one pay-per-view, which we'll talk about. When no other titles change hands, you expect a title to change hands.
Right.
So if they're putting the two titles together, you already expect a title changing hands. But if Roderick Strong wins that match, then I totally expect Braun Breaker to win the title. Like, I don't really have a reason behind it besides the fans typically riot if they lose every match.
So why would Roddy Strong and Carmelo Hayes match make them riot? I mean, because I fully expect
because Roddy's the 1.0 guy and Carmelo Hayes is the 2.0 guy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm expecting.
Do you expect you expect Carmelo Hayes to win and Braun Breaker?
I'm thinking Roddy's going to win, and I'm saying Roddy and Braun.
So exactly what I said. You're expecting one 1.0 guy and one 2.0 guy.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
So you agree with, but it could go the opposite direction too. It could be Carmelo Hayes wins and Tommaso Ciampa wins.
Yeah, but I think that they're building Braun up too much, and he already lost his title match. So I'm thinking Braun's going to win that match.
The reason why I think that Tommaso Ciampa could win here. Okay. What?
Going heel?
Yes. And when we say heel,
back to what
I mean like He'll be the same guy that holds that championship up close to his chest and everything else.
Well, that's what
He'll
he was doing
call
in
her
the seal.
Goldie and do all that, but like he will sit there and say, "I am willing to do anything to keep Goldie by my side this time." And I just feel like that to me is more interesting, building up to Braun Breaker winning at WrestleMania weekend than it is just some random New Year's Evil weekend.
Yeah.
And maybe even finding a way to have Ciampa keep the title, maybe not look super heel yet, but then figure out a way to get Braun Breaker out of the championship look until all of a sudden he goes into the Royal Rumble or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anything that could build up towards a real, true, like, okay, we know that Braun Breaker is the next guy, but like, is there a way to build towards that further than just saying, I'm the next guy?
Got you.
I walked out, I'm the next guy. You know what I mean? Like take that away from him and give him a reason to have to build back up to go out and get it. Now, granted, I could be completely wrong. He could win it Tuesday night. I'm just hoping that's not the case, because I would love to see the next time they actually do I want to say in your house, but NXT takeover. When they do a takeover, have him win it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'd also like to see him not necessarily win it at a takeover at like the Royal Rumble weekend, because having him show up in the Royal Rumble, I think, is a bigger deal.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll have him win the Royal Rumble.
No. He won't win the Royal Rumble. Like right now, if I had to guess, and we're gonna get to it, but I have who I think is gonna win the Royal Rumble now.
Okay.
Based on this weekend's events.
Oh, I think I know who's going to win the Royal Rumble too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because people have been wanting it, clamoring.
Tino, are you ready to talk about AEW Dynamite?
No.
What happened on Wednesday?
I don't remember. You watched it. Did you watch it?
I did. I don't remember anything that happened during.
Yeah, because Cody was on Friday. I remember CM Punk coming. I know Jim Ross came back. I remember CM Punk came out and talked about being, you tried to pretty much back up. MJF came up first and pretty much said that he's done with CM Punk. And did you see CM Punk running away from me, and how Sting was old and tried to kill him, about throwing him out the ring?
I did like that moment, by the way.
Yeah. And so he said what he said, and CM Punk pretty much came back and was like, well, he said, if you're done with me, that's fine. I got bigger fish to fry. He said, JR has even said, if you're not in this business to be champion, there's nothing to be in the business. He said, but if I'm trying to be champion and MJF is trying to be champion at some point in time.
I did like CM Punk's statement of specifically when he sat there and said, I'm okay being done with MJF. Like, if MJF says he's done with me, that's fine. If MJF's sitting there going after the world championship, I'm going to say right now, there's a good possibility that somebody's going to interrupt that match. I
Yeah.
don't know who, but somebody is going to interrupt that match.
I think that's cool that they kind of like put it on pause, but left it open.
They didn't put anything on pause. Like, their next big pay-per-view is February.
Okay.
They're going to face each other singles match in February.
All right. We'll see.
I did like that Chris Jericho came back.
Which means
it means that we will finally get to sing Fozzy on the 12th.
As soon as he came out Wednesday, I'm like, I know Rob's happy now. He'll start crying about.
Dude, I was so mad. Like, there were a couple things that made me mad about our show. We didn't get to see him. We didn't get to see certain other people. We didn't get to see Kenny Omega. And granted, Kenny's hurt. I get it. But the first time in North Carolina you bring that show and you don't bring all the big guns and you don't have Justin Roberts sit there and go, and he even wrestled in North Carolina.
No, it's
Kenny Omega. Like that upset a bunch of us. Like,
Yeah,
because we're all sitting there saying, you don't have to say Kenny Omega, but when you bring out FTR, you should sit there and say that they're from North Carolina.
Or Matt Hardy.
Yeah, he didn't even do it for Matt Hardy.
And Griff Garrison from Winston-Salem. Like, you had all these chances.
Fuck about Griff Garrison. Shut up.
Shut
up. Griff Garrison's garbage. He's holding Pillman Jr. back. But as we continue, I don't know what I was saying. Where were you going with all that?
I don't know. You're talking about CM Punk and MJF.
MJF. So I like where they're going with it. I like that they finally said, okay, we finally got the two of them in a match together. MJF sitting there the whole time, sitting there after the match, talking about how like CM Punk ran away from him.
Yeah.
CM Punk sitting there saying, we all know that that's not true. Okay, that's great. That is a really good way to build the story. Where's it go?
They'll figure something out.
February pay-per-view?
Probably.
Okay. So we get them in the February pay-per-view. Like I said, we got Chris Jericho back.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing about the Chris Jericho coming back was Chris Jericho obviously came back to help his boys in the inner circle, and Santana Ortiz.
Kingston didn't like that.
And somebody didn't like it very much.
So now we're pushing for a Jericho Kingston feud.
I don't think we're necessarily pushing towards that. I think this is one of those things where it's a feud, but it's a feud to earn the respect of your friends. Okay? So I think this is one of those times where even like CM Punk sits there and helps Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's like, I didn't ask for your friendship. I didn't ask for your help. And then they have a match. I kind of think that with the Jericho thing, Eddie Kingston could find himself as an inner circle member. Because I kind of think that Proud and Powerful or Pride and Powerful or what Santana Ortiz. Let me call them what they are. Santana Ortiz sit there and say, hey, Jericho, thank you so much for saving us. But, we were with our boy Kenny or Eddie. And Eddie sits there and Eddie gets all upset. But Chris Jericho wasn't trying to step on Eddie's toes. He was making sure that Eddie's boys were good because they're Chris Jericho's boys, right?
Yeah.
So this is why I think that it's one of those things where like they'll come together rather than cause a match between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. It may cause a match later on down the road, but I think when it comes to the Inner Circle, like Tony Khan actually said to Jericho, why do you want to break up the Inner Circle? And he's like, well, we've run our course. Like we lost our big match at what against the Pinnacle and blah blah blah. Like at this point we should break up.
Well,
and Tony Khan was like, no, I don't want to see you guys break up.
Then they won that last one though, didn't they? Because Sami
they
won.
did win the final match, but they lost the one before that. But they were supposed to break up. And Tony Khan backstage was like, because Chris Jericho talked about this on his podcast. He's like, he told me, I don't want to see you guys break up. Like, I'm cool with you guys taking a step back and maybe not necessarily always using the influence of the Inner Circle, but you guys are still the Inner Circle. You're still one of like the best built like things that we've done, and because of that, like it's kind of cool knowing that that's the case. It's even cooler knowing that like when Eddie Kingston's sitting there having matches and Jericho's not around, that it could cause some sort of story down the road, right?
Right.
But the best kind of story is to finally have somebody reason with Eddie Kingston rather than allow him to continue being this bitch that sits there and like complains and says, I don't need nobody, because he's always talking about his best friends.
Yep.
And yet he never needs nobody, but he always seems to need somebody. So wouldn't it be better if he had the Inner Circle at his back and Chris Jericho putting his arm around him and saying, Eddie, you have done everything you can to be one of the top guys in the business. And now, not only are you one of the top guys, but you're also protected by the Inner Circle. Like, I would be down with that.
Till Moxley comes back.
What's that?
Till Moxley comes back.
And even when Moxley comes, Moxley's going to be a lone wolf in his best iteration. He's always going to be a lone wolf. He's going to come out, he's going to drop somebody with his finisher, and you're going to be like, oh shit. And if he does it right, it will be against somebody it'll be somebody like MJF. It'll be somebody like Bryan Danielson. It'll be someone like Miro. It's going to be one of those top heel guys. And I'll tell you right now, the best way to do it would be to have him come down. And I hate to say this because everyone's going to hate me for saying that Danielson should actually beat Cowboy Shit. But if Danielson beat Cowboy Shit and Moxley came down and hit him with his finisher, are you telling me that's not an even bigger moment?
Yeah, but then, like you said, they got WWE guys now fighting for the title, which is
who the fuck cares? It's fucking
you,
Cowboy.
it's
Danielson, who we've already said, Tino, on our show, we've already said Danielson has done more for that AEW championship than anybody else in AEW, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Moxley is the former champion. So if you have Moxley come in and he sits there and drops Danielson after Danielson wins the belt, tell me that's not the biggest pay-per-view they've ever put on.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
So, but then you put Moxley against Danielson, who wins that match? You know what I'm saying? Where do you go?
Who cares? You have months to build towards it. You only do 4 pay-per-views a year.
They won't build that. I think the longest arc they had was that Kenny Omega, Hangman arc, and then the arc with that Cody Rhodes has been doing over the past year.
I kind of agree with Chris Barrett right there. We don't do it very often, but I just did it. I agree with Chris Barrett. The only reason why you would be upset with Bryan Danielson versus Moxley would be because you're a WWE mark.
How many shows
watching AEW?
How many shows have we done where you yourself bitched about a WWE them signing WWE talents and then putting them in a top contender for the belt? You
can say all that, but here's the deal, and here's the truth.
But you're going back on what you said is what I'm saying.
Here's the truth. When I sat there and said all that stuff, and then I sat there and said, who deserved to win that 60-minute Iron Man match? What did I still say? It was the WWE guy that still deserved to win that match because the other guy had to play up to him. He didn't win that match. Bryan Danielson allowed him to survive that match. That really is the whole Taz mantra of win if you can and survive if I let you. That literally is what Hangman did in that match. But we got other stuff to talk about. And I know you don't want to be on super late.
No.
Did anything happen?
They didn't have a SmackDown this week.
No, SmackDown did not actually have it. They did a specialty thing, but there was Rampage.
Yes, and that was I like the Taz talking points, breaking down the Taz mission, which they call them. They renamed Red Rum. But the main thing on that show was the Cody Rhodes versus American Dickwads. He faced
American Dickwads, top team. What's his name? Ethan Page.
Yes. Now
Ethan Page.
That was a good match. I didn't expect Ethan to get as much offense as he did, but also didn't expect him to win. I knew Cody was going to come back with that.
Did you see that they signed a new match for Battle of the Belts on the 8th?
Which is going to be on TV, by the way. I thought it was a pay-per-view. That's actually going to be...
No, it's TV. It's on TNT. It'll be Saturday, January 8th. Mm-hmm. It is the same night that Britt Baker versus
Riho. Isn't it? No.
Sheeta. And now the other big match will be Sammy Guevara return match against Cody Rhodes.
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah, they announced it.
So they're gonna so he'll lose again.
What's that?
So he'll lose again.
Otherwise, it's just gonna start being the 24/7 championship. We'll just pass it off every time we're on TV.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, yes, it does sound like Sammy Guevara is going to lose. However, we all agreed when it didn't happen that if Cody was going to win the belt in Greensboro, that he was going to win the belt and turn heel. And what if he actually officially turns heel at Battle of the Belts?
Could be.
Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, that's 4 days before we go to PNC. So it'll be interesting.
Yep.
Now, Tino.
Let's do it. I don't think you ever been.
SmackDown.
We didn't have SmackDown. We already said that.
We didn't have SmackDown.
Remember we said that.
But I don't have anything on here that sits there and talks about SmackDown either. So let's go ahead and talk about day one.
All right.
Liv Morgan lost.
Damn. Throw it out there like that.
Everybody thought Liv Morgan was going to walk out with that title.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan lost.
So who next then? I don't think they have anybody. I was kind of hoping beyond hope, and I knew it probably wasn't going to happen, that Ronda Rousey walked out.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Because I don't know who else they got to put against her.
Before the entire show went on the air, Roman Reigns got hit with
they called it. Yeah, but they didn't call it that. They kept calling it the global situation, or they kept saying something they would never come out and say what it is. The Optimus Prime. But
the Optimus Prime.
But
Roman Reigns lost his match to Optimus Prime and Megatron.
So they added one Brock Lesnar to the WWE title picture. But before we
five-way.
I want to talk about these tag team matches, and then we'll get to that. I thought that what you think of the New Day.
New Day, it was exactly what you expect from it. It was a great match.
Hit the 3D. Now they're calling it the 1D.
And anybody that watched on Twitter saw that Bubba Ray Dudley sat there and said, "Respect, brothers, respect," because they hit the 3D. Was only one of 2 times in the night that the 3D was hit, by the way.
Was it hit again?
It was.
With the Randy Orton. That wasn't really an RKO. You're right. That was a 3D.
It was a 3D.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about day one?
Solid B plus. Could have been better.
What?
Could have been better.
I felt that the pay-per-view itself, like the quality of matches and everything, was solid.
But once Roman, damn it. Yeah, once Roman got the vid and they said that Brock was going into that 5-way, you knew it was going to happen.
I don't think you knew it was going to happen. I thought that was a pretty shocking moment. It makes me wonder whether or not Brock versus Roman was going to end in the same way.
Yeah.
However, did you hear the plan currently? Now, obviously, this could change tonight because we're doing this during Monday Night Raw. But did you hear the plan before tonight for Royal Rumble?
And that's why I said I know who's going to win the Rumble now.
Well, go ahead. Say it out loud, man.
Bobby Lashley's going to win the Rumble, and they're finally going to give us that Lashley-Lesnar feud that we were looking for.
So I've heard that it's just going to be Lashley versus Lesnar at the Royal Rumble.
Oh.
And if it's Lashley versus Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, it seems probable that Lashley beats Lesnar.
Lesnar goes into the Rumble.
Lesnar goes into the Rumble.
And
Lesnar wins the Rumble. And Lesnar goes against. So
now,
if they were to do that, just the way that I just said, Lesnar versus Lashley, Lesnar joins the Royal Rumble. Lesnar then at WrestleMania goes against Roman Reigns. Is that the best possible outcome of WWE at the Royal Rumble? And I say that because is Bobby Lashley beating Brock Lesnar a plus? Let's start there.
No, because I think they need to freshen up that main event scene and putting that belt back on Lashley while it will pop their ratings. And he was a pretty good champion. It's just they're keeping the belt on the same people. They're not giving anybody else a chance.
But Bobby Lashley is a babyface, which is kind of what they started working towards.
Well, Brock's a babyface. So you're saying they're going to turn Brock again after he?
It doesn't matter when it like you can do babyface. You can't do heel. Is what they've kind of proven. But you can do Brock versus Bobby as baby faces and then have Brock sit there and say, all right, shake his hand at the end of the match because he lost, and then join the Royal Rumble and actually win the Royal Rumble match, right? Mm-hmm. And that would be babyface wins the match against Brock. Brock then sits there and does the ultimate babyface turn, goes and wins the Rumble, and then at the end of the night sits there and stares down Roman Reigns. That's got to be the biggest, the biggest babyface move you can do, right?
Mm.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
that
right. You want to sit there but who does Brock lose the title to if he's supposed to go up against Roman at Mania?
Mm.
So having him go baby is all right as long as it makes everybody look strong.
Yeah.
I think you disagree?
No, I was reading what Barrett just said. I'm trying to make sense of it. So if Lashley beats Lesnar for the belt, I think Big E wins Roman, goes against Roman in order to swap the belts brands. No, because it's still Lashley and Lesnar.
I would assume that if Lashley goes up against Lesnar at Royal Rumble, then whoever wins the SmackDown version, and like I said, it's probably going to be Lesnar winning the Rumble at that point to go against the Raw World Title. You probably have them win the Elimination Chamber or whatever else kind of thing you got set up for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would do anyway. But either way, Tino, I think it's time.
First of all,
talk about.
Time out. Why wasn't the SmackDown Women's Championship that ever say Charlotte didn't defend her belt?
Because she's a bitch.
Mm. And Toni Storm was released.
And Toni Storm got released.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit there and say that the statement going around about circumcisions and everything else is actually true.
Circumcisions?
Yeah, you got to look it up. The fact of the matter is that I do believe that Toni Storm asked for her release, but I'm not willing to sit there and believe that what you read on the internet is what she said yet, because there is nothing that corroborates any story. And so far, it just sounds like somebody's writing some really crazy, this bitch doesn't want to blah, 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 blah. And that's why I want my release. And I don't believe all that yet.
Okay.
So with that said,
let's do the
Tino.
Let's do the awards.
It's the year end of both WWE and AEW. So I want to go ahead and ask you, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get this done. Let's get it.
So here you go. Who's your best tag if the year? Yeah, I even called myself out on that because I wrote tag of the year, and that's what came up. AEW tag team if the year.
I gotta go the Jurassic Express.
Not one of the tag team champions? Not any of the tag team champions?
I mean,
not proud and powerful?
You can go Young Bucks, but that's just. I was trying to think outside the box. I mean, if you really want to say the best tag team of the year, see, Chris agrees with me. If you want to go best tag team of the year, then it would probably be. I think I like the Bucks better than FTR for tag of the year. If you're gonna go, you make me pick.
So I'll tell you right now, my tag team of the year is the Lucha Brothers.
Huh.
Because they went out and at the final pay-per-view of the year, they showed up, they showed out, and they won the tag team belts. And they earned them over the course of the 12 months. This was a tough one, by the way, because there were so many good tag teams. Like you said, Lucha Express. Like, there's no reason not to say that those guys weren't worthy of this Potsy and Tino moment. But the fact is that overall, the Lucha Brothers are the current AEW champions, and they beat the EVPs to get there. So until the story actually shows Lucha Express beating them, I think that's why I went there. So good choices on both, by the way. I think your choice, my choice, both were good. I think we did good there.
Right.
WWE Tag Team of the Year.
RK Bro. RK Bro. I got to go with RK Bro.
What?
I got to go with RK Bro.
What? Oh God, I didn't even think about this one really. I gotta go the Usos.
Okay.
I gotta go the Usos, and RK Bro makes a lot of sense over the last 6 months. Over the year, that's kind of tough, but I will say that they've been so dominant that I understand and respect the opinion. Okay, so if anybody on our show wants to sit there and by the way, Chris Barrett said, RK Bro, and Tino oftentimes wants me to silence Chris Barrett. But I am gonna say the Usos. And the reason why I'm going to say the Usos is because when you look at SmackDown, long term, the bloodline is where it's at. It strongly, it definitively pushes where they are. So RK Bro, I absolutely agree. Tino on Raw. They have made Raw worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
So well played on that. At the same time, you can go all the way back to when Roman came back a year ago at SummerSlam and see that Jay and Jimmy Uso have been a definitive figure in terms of drawing people's attention to watch SmackDown on Friday nights. So So I think we're both right. I think we're both great there. You ready?
Yep. DMD.
Okay, Tino sits there and says that the AEW Women's Star of the Year is the AEW Women's Champion, Tony Schiavone. No, I'm sorry. Britt Baker.
You can't deny the year she's had.
I can't. However,
versus Ruby Soho, that's not a good choice. I mean, you got Thunder Rosa.
And I was going to say Thunder Rosa. And here's why I say Thunder Rosa. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? So when Jason, friend of the show, Blitzball champ, and I went to WrestleCade, the 3 longest lines in the entire show
were
Malachi Black, Mickey James, and Thunder Rosa. And I have to tell you that when we talked to Thunder Rosa about it, she sat there and said, just keep mentioning me on social media, and at some point they'll have to take notice. This woman understands where she is currently and where she needs to go. And Tino, when you talk about Britt Baker, DMD, what was her best match?
The Thunder Rosa match. No, hands
the
down.
Thunder Rosa lights out match. So I can tell you right now, DMD is protected. Thunder Rosa shows up every fucking where. Like you don't even have to be working an AEW match to see Thunder Rosa right now.
True.
So if I had to sit there and say my number one AEW women's wrestler, without a shadow of a doubt, even though she doesn't hold the championship, and I do love Britt Baker, it's got to be Thunder Rosa.
I agree with Barrett, too. He said Ruby Soho, because of the impact she's made in such a short time. Yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ruby Soho has done miraculous things in her position. But when it comes to my award winners for 2021, it's got to be Thunder Rosa.
All right.
And I think Jason would agree with me on that. So Tino,
next.
Are you ready?
Yep. I got to go with
Tony Storm.
I got to go with EST. Tony Storm. I got to go with Bianca Belair.
Not Tony Storm?
No. Roderick Strong's wife. Yeah, that was it.
Marina Shafir. Absolutely. Wow. The EST, Bianca Belair. Please explain.
She literally came up. She's one of the ones. She's one of the rare ones. And I always say, when they bring somebody up from the NXT, they either get buried or they don't know how to book her. They booked her the right way. Every match, you talk about showing up and showing off. I mean, she deadlifted Otis, for God's sakes. So I mean, she's the real deal to me.
She did, and people forgot about that, by the way.
I didn't. I never forget, because I was here when we were sitting here. Haley was home from college.
We were here.
No, I was here because Haley was home from college, and we were watching it. And Haley was doing something. I think she was doing like homework or something. And she looked up and she said, "Did she just lift his big ass?" I said, "Yeah." And then from there on, every time Bianca Belair came on our TV, Haley was paying attention and watching. And that's saying something because she's not really. She'll watch it, but she's not. But if Bianca Belair was on there, or was a match, she stopped whatever she was doing. She'd come out here if she heard that music.
And as a reminder, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks was the main event of WrestleMania Night 1.
Yes.
So she delivered. They won the MTV Music Award or whatever for ESPN.
They won a bunch of
ESPN award.
I think it was Sports Illustrated too. I think.
So I'm
Who's
going to go
yours?
a little bit different here. By the way,
What you got?
I mean, I can't dispute what you just said, and I can't dispute the idea of Bianca Belair because of what she did this year. However, I'm going to go Raquel Gonzalez
respect
because of what she did over the course of 12 months in NXT.
And you know what? You said WWE. I didn't even think NXT, and that's me. I'm thinking when you said WWE, it's sad that you don't think NXT like that. So it's good that it's good that you brought that up.
I mean, she had. I mean, let's be real. When it came to WrestleMania time last year, she ended up having a match against Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
That was a lights out fucking backstage brawl. That was just incredible. And then when you think about the full 12-month passage, right? She was the champion. And then she had a very similar lights out backstage brawl match against Dakota Kai.
Yes.
So, like, all things considered, when you take into account exactly how good the NXT women's division was in 2021, like you can talk about Bianca Belair being as good as she was, but the truth is I think Raquel Gonzalez was easily the best overall women's performer in all of WWE.
Okay.
So there you go, folks. I totally threw everybody off with my opinion there, because normally I go, like standardized, whatever. But I mean, like I can see it in your eyes. You're looking at me like he's not necessarily wrong.
No, you're right. I didn't even think NXT.
Yeah. And then Chris Barrett says, I say Nikki Ash because the way she was booked as a cartoon character in such a strong. Well, for a couple weeks she was. I think that you're trying to joke with us, Chris Barrett, but at the same time, I do think that Nikki Ash, had she been broadcast in the first hour of Monday Night Raw in that superhero character that she was, would actually have gotten over a lot better than she did. So,
yeah.
All right.
What you got?
So we did women's, we did men's, we did tag teams, right?
Yes.
And notice, I did this one before I did the AEW Star of the Year.
There's so many to choose from, and I'm gonna choose one, and you know who I'm gonna choose.
I don't know who you're gonna choose.
Yeah, you do.
We did not talk about, folks. We did not talk about this.
But I've shown my admiration of this guy all year, even when you're like weren't impressed with him.
Elias?
No.
Well, I leave it up to you, man. Go ahead, do it.
To the moon.
Wow. All right. So this is the second NXT star getting the Potsy and Tino award.
From the beginning of the year, his character has grown. It was, and when he first started, it was Santino Marella. He was very coming, but through that whole arc with I keep calling him Eli, but it's not LA Knight into the thing with the $1 Million Man, into the thing with the hair versus hair. You've seen him grow in this past year, and he's my pick.
So he's your with everything that's going on in the WWE, he is your pick for the top star.
Well, give me a minute.
No. You already did it. And by the way, I like it. I'm
sticking with it. I was trying to think of everybody else. Normally, I would say KO, but they didn't really do anything with KO this year. But all year, my favorite one through the year, like I said, and from the beginning of the year, this whole from the GameStop thing all the way till now, his character has grown. And I'm sticking with it.
You know, like I gotta tell you, Tino, I love that pick. I love it. And I didn't give you many hours to think about this.
Yeah.
You had like 3 hours to think about your top picks. And are you ready for mine?
I'm excited to hear this one. Yeah.
So my top
Ciampa.
WWE star of the year.
Ciampa.
No, he's not an
man.
NXT star.
All right.
He was an NXT star. My number one pick for the star of the year from WWE is Sami Zayn.
Good pick.
I gotta give him credit, man.
And we've talked about it on this show, and you're right. He kept SmackDown, him and Roman.
Like, nobody remembers that him and Roman both left SmackDown when the pandemic began.
Yes.
And WWE said, it's okay if you want to leave, you can leave, no big deal. We're not gonna drop anybody, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna and both of them disappeared. And then like a year later at SummerSlam,
they both came back.
But when Sami Zayn came back, it immediately was in the Intercontinental Championship. And he immediately sparked that championship. But I'm going to tell you,
Chris Barrett agrees with you.
Sami Zayn would not have been my top WWE superstar of the year.
Until, I know where you're going.
Until he became the number one contender for the Universal Championship. And Brock Lesnar put his arm around him.
Tonight.
And
then he tried to weasel his way out of it.
Sammy? It's Sammy, right?
Oh, God.
Tonight. Yes. I'm going to tell you right now. Those vignettes, those moments made, and if Sami Zayn leaves the WWE to become El Generico again, it is a disservice to the fans he's created with the WWE. It is a disservice to the man he's become since joining the WWE. And it is a disservice to the ability that he has without wearing a mask.
Yeah. Barrett says it.
So I'm telling you right now, Sami Zayn, you win my WWE Superstar of the Year award based on the programs you've run, based on the character development that you've had, and more than anything else, the amount that you have entertained me over the course of 2021. You are the WWE Superstar of the Year to me, sir. Thank you.
Barrett picks Edge.
What's that?
Barrett picks Edge.
Edge would have been a good one. I think that if we were sitting there talking about match of the year, Edge versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell at what was it called, is perfectly acceptable.
Heck in a sec.
And in fact, Tino, match of the year, what do you go with? WWE.
Oh my God.
I just gave you one. You can use it if you want.
Damn. You go first on this one. I hadn't even thought of. Oh my God. Yeah, you didn't give me a whole lot of time.
I'll go ahead and I'll say one. You ready? Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, WrestleMania Night 1.
That's strong.
I don't want to take credit. You know, earlier I'm sitting there saying that, you know, specific things going on or whatever. I don't want to take credit away from where the proof is in the pudding, right?
I'm gonna have to say, and it's more than a match of the year, but it goes together. The Roman which one is it? Is it Jay or
Jimmy?
The Roman Jimmy matches.
But hold on. I think you're talking about like October of last year.
Was it last year? Damn. Okay. All right. Man. You get all these wrestlings mixed up.
Now you sit there and you want to tell me that it's Roman versus Kevin Owens at I believe it was the Royal Rumble when Kevin Owens and him had a False Count Anywhere match, or I'm sorry, a Last Man Standing match, and the match ended with the fake 10 count because Owens would have won it. I mean, that was a miraculous match. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on the Edge and Seth Rollins match.
Edge Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell from what was that shit? Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
All right. So we did that.
AEW match.
What is the AEW match of the year?
I got to go with the Lights Out match. That match was hellacious. That Britt Baker came to her own in that match. Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Lights Out.
I'm glad you said that.
You don't agree.
But we're not going to agree.
Aleister Black and Cody Rhodes? No. Oh, you already said it earlier. The Lucha Brothers and no.
Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page.
Even though you said that Bryan had to carry him.
He had to carry him, but he carried match of the year. I mean,
Barrett likes Cody versus Sami.
I mean, if we're talking 2022, I guess it is Hangman versus. No, I'm kidding. But no, the fact is that like there were two matches that defined AEW wrestling in 2021. There literally were two.
Okay.
The first one is the first match that you mentioned. It is Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, Lights Out. Britt Baker got to get that face bleeding all over the TV screen, showing it straight up to look like Mick Foley 20 years ago or 25 years ago or whatever it was. And here's the thing. You could even say that when we start looking at what match is the match of the year for 2022, we could start talking about the Tay Conti and Anna Jay versus the Bunny and whatever her name is,
Penelope Ford. That was a good match.
Penelope Ford. And the fact that they were willing to do the stuff that just led to them bleeding out, like, I'm not going to say anything disgraceful or anything because I actually respect the women involved. I think that may go down as one of the best matches of 2022, and it'll get forgotten because it happened in the first week of 2022.
Yeah.
At the same time, when we look at 2021, Tino's sitting there saying that the lights out match, I can't dispute that. He's absolutely right that is one of the best matches that AEW wrestling has ever put on. However, the 60-minute Iron Man Broadway that Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page put on delivered a new level of what Hangman Adam Page is expected to do as long as he holds that championship belt.
Mm.
He is being looked at as an old school champion, and going forward, I do not anticipate his defenses being less than 45 minutes because they're trying to show him as an old school champion.
Mm.
At the same time, the reason why I said that my AEW #1 match of the year was him versus Bryan Danielson, 60-minute draw, was because there has been no wrestling match like that before. Not since John Cena versus Shawn Michaels 60-minute Iron Man match. And there was a winner to that. And it was Shawn Michaels, believe it or not. So seeing this, it all goes back to the fact that they know that they're trying to develop Bryan Danielson as the heel, and they need to do it by any means necessary. So with all that said, I can't dispute your lights out match statement. I think that was a great call. Wonderful moment of the year. And interestingly enough, not a WWE call on either of our hands, especially considering, like, everybody says that I'm a WWE mark.
Yeah.
But while I like your statement of the lights out match, I still have to go with the 60-minute Iron Man match.
Okay.
So what do you got?
That's
Got
it.
anything else? We got a couple more, right?
Do we?
We have, here it is.
Best what of the year?
Overall, best performer of the year.
Over all brands?
All brands.
Killing me, Smalls.
I knew this one would be tough for you. You want me to go first?
You go first.
Bryan Danielson.
You can say that.
There's no way not to go with him, man. He main evented WrestleMania against Edge and Roman Reigns and left the company. And when he left, he went somewhere else and immediately showed up and said, I'm the best wrestler in the world.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry.
And let me put it this way. Nobody has proven him wrong yet.
You're right.
And when I say that, it's because he went 30 minutes to a draw against the former world champion. And he went 60 minutes to a draw against the current world champion. There is nobody on AEW currently that could say that they're better than him. And he's had 17 matches against the current roster, and he is 17-0.
I'm gonna have to go with a man who's been around a while, for years. He keeps reinventing himself, and it seems like just when you think he can't get any better, he changes an aspect of his personality.
Da, 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 on the inside.
You would think, but no.
It's not Jericho?
No.
Hit me.
The 3 most dangerous letters in pro wrestling today.
RKO. Wow. So hold on. Your overall best wrestler of the year.
I'm going with Orton. Go with Orton. Still does it. He's still as smooth as he ever was. He
literally only owned the tag team championships.
Doesn't matter. But you got to think of what he did with Edge. You got to think about that's
the Edge thing was last year.
Damn it.
That was 2020.
Wrestling's running together.
That was 2020.
Well, fuck it.
Because remember, Edge blew out his quad or whatever.
Then I would have to, because Jericho was my second choice though. It's either Edge or it was either Orton or Jericho.
Jericho, wow.
Again, it's another one that reinvents himself, still a fan favorite, and he's had the championship. He can still go. Yeah,
but the whole idea is that you're coming up with somebody that worked better than everybody else, and wasn't just because I'm sitting there going, "Hey, this is the guy."
I just can't think of any.
I'm pretty disappointed in you, Tino.
I know. I'm terrible.
I mean, you were sitting there going, Ciampa, Ciampa, Ciampa.
Ciampa? Yeah,
Ciampa.
So I busted the last one overall best.
And I even said Raquel Gonzalez. I legitimately gave a.
If we can go back and use best of the, if we can go back and I thought we weren't using the same person twice.
Who? What do you mean?
You said was Raquel Gonzalez?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna sit there and say, okay, overall best of the year.
Oh, we can use the same person twice?
Why wouldn't you?
Fucking Bianca Belair.
All right.
I was trying to think. I didn't think we used the same.
Now
person.
give everybody out there why.
Again, Bianca Belair she's held her own. She's held both the titles. She's held her own against Charlotte. She's held her own against Becky. She again. I go back to from where she came from the NXT to where she is now. She's proven herself. She's the EST. She's the baddest, the toughest, the roughest. I mean, I
God,
can't
you're
think
so
of a
terrible at this, man. Like,
yeah, I can't. I know who I like, and this past year is Bianca Belair. I don't know if I can use the same
so truth be told, when it comes to Bianca Belair, for everybody out there, because Tino doesn't know how to sit there and make everybody agree with him. The truth is Bianca Belair is the one woman that came from NXT, and we can all sit there and say, well, Rhea Ripley did, but Bianca Belair is the one woman that came from NXT that truly has it personified exactly what we expect them to be, and her husband doesn't even get the same look, the same cross, the same nothing. Like Bianca is gonna be with the company for years, and her husband is probably only gonna be with the company for years because
of her,
of Bianca.
And for those of you who don't know, Montez Ford,
yes,
is Mr. EST.
But beyond that, let me just say, Tino, I agree with you. Bianca is a wonderful overall best of the year. Did I give mine?
Yeah, you said Bryan
Danielson.
I don't think Street Profits is a comedy duo.
Oh, Street Profits is most definitely a comedy duo.
Well, that's like saying the New Day is a comedy duo. I mean,
they are a comedy duo.
They held the most tag team titles.
The difference between the New Day being a comedy duo and the Street Profits being a comedy duo is that two of the three people in the New Day are now world champions, and one of them is a king of the ring.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at the Street Profits are,
they haven't used them like they should. That's one of the things too. That
I'm just straight up telling you what we've seen currently.
And I agree, because they're not using them properly.
I'm not going to say they're not using them properly. When you look at Angelo Dawkins looks like a guy who should use the gym that doesn't.
They say the same thing about Owens, but we praise Owens.
No. When we look at Owens, we look at a guy that is very similar to a Mick Foley. There's a difference.
Okay.
And if you don't think that you know what the difference is, I'm not going to sit there and talk about it tonight. We can try to talk about it off air and then come up with a reason to talk about it later. But the fact is that, like, when you look at Angelo Dawkins and you look at Kevin Owens, the difference is that Kevin Owens was already over with the entire crowd, no matter what the fuck he did. And Angelo Dawkins is over with what you want him to be over with.
Yep.
With that said, Tino, I think we're about done tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want to sit there and make sure that when we talk about the overall best of the year,
Uh-oh.
who you give it to?
We just said that. I said Bianca Belair.
You gave your overall best of the year to Bianca Belair?
And
You said that your best women's match was the damn...
You've been drinking. You asked me.
Oh, I've been drinking. I'm out.
Conversation. Can
I'm
I
out.
use the same person twice? You said, yeah. I'm like, with an overall best of the year, I'm giving it to Bianca Belair. We just had this whole conversation. Drunk ass.
And I'm glad you stuck with your guns. I'm glad you stuck with your guns.
Remember,
So all right. So
Ryan
truth be told, and everything else. It's time to go. You wanted me to say something else?
I don't know what you're gonna say. You're dumbass.
Chris Barrett, we're gonna have to shut you down, brother.
Jeff Hardy's over. Oh, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Jeff Hardy. All right. Folks, you can find him on the Twitter machine at PodCheck. I'm HoodieFan91. We want to say thank you for coming to the show.
Hey, what's up, fans? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have...
Can't stop it. I can't stop it. There we go. Teddy Long didn't want to be held down, man.
We're Potsy and Tino on Facebook. We're Potsy and Tino Show. You can catch him out on the TikTok. He is Rob Potsy PodCheck. Oh my God. I'm laughing at Chris Barrett. I'm sorry. He said, Tino, didn't you see Rob drink an entire bottle of Maker Smart during this video?
No. I only had a little bottle. This is a little bottle.
You drank the whole thing? That's what he's saying.
No, I did not. This is the same bottle I had at my birthday.
So anyway, check us out each and every week right here. Normally we'll be back on Tuesday. Right here on the YouTube. We want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling songs. Our theme song you can get on iTunes for 99 cents. And until next Tuesday when we're back, folks, good night. Woo!
Everybody wants to be the next boy. But I am the man of the hour, the tower of power. Too sweet to be sour. Make it sweet. Oh, like Jared Flower. There have been many imitations, but only one next boy. I am the greatest thing going today. But we don't like it.
Yeah.
You better learn to love
Dig it.
because whether you like it or not, I am the greatest of all time. Woo! Tony Schiavone, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And I am the man.